Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to episode 7 here on season number 3. So today we're going to be taking this board and turning it into a table. It's not like all going to be done in one day. It's going to be a matter of like 4 days. So I guess to say today, I mean this week. But basically it's a live end slab of wood. It's about, I think, 2 inches thick. We picked it up at this place called Made Lumber a week ago basically, and we're going to turn it into a table. If you're wondering like how to make it into a table, I'm going to try to describe that to you while also like using time lapses and that kind of thing. If I do miss a part, don't feel bad, just post it down in the comments and I'll try to respond as quickly as possible. So here's kind of what you'll need is basically we're gonna use these 4 poles right here along with this hardware. This came off an IKEA table. It's warped up and stuff like that, so we were like, let's, you know what, take these off and then we can use them for our other table. You know, do a little repurposing. We're gonna save the legs for after like the table has been sanded and that kind of thing. But this project should be pretty easy. I mean, there's not really much to it. Pretty much like from my understanding is that we're gonna sand down the entire board to make it like really ready with some 220 grit sandpaper. We're gonna also sand up the backside because the backside, let me show you. The backside is pretty dirty. We're gonna wanna sand that up also. And then on the edges, like right here, we've got some gunk that we could probably peel off, sand down at least. It's gonna be pretty hard to put polyurethane on here with it being like this, with it, you know, going all buck wild. I wanted to originally do like wood pegs that would actually just slide right into the board, but for me I feel like that's way too advanced, and so we're gonna go with the like hardware for now, but eventually I plan on adding some wood pegs to these, and if I do end up doing that, I will make a video, well, you know, showing you how to do something. Coach, what kind of product do you use? I will link those down in the description. They won't be the specific ones because those came from a IKEA table, but I'll try to find something similar that sells on Amazon.
You know when you're being used? That's how I feel, Rocco. Like I'm being used by a non-professional, professional YouTuber. Click subscribe, like, we get 10,000. I guess he's gonna make me another table.
First, we're gonna have to cut off some of the parts of this table. Basically what we're doing is we gotta cut a few pieces off of this board, 2 feet off one end and then about a foot off the other end, because there's some imperfections with the board. On the one end it's cracked, and then on the other end there is like a little bit of scuff, like the wood is starting to pill up a little bit. That's what we gotta do right now, and then we'll bring it back and then we'll start sanding it, making sure that everything is kind of level, and then from there we can move forward with getting the brackets attached and getting the polyurethane on there as well.
What?
Well, as the story goes, apparently I just blew a fuse trying to cut this board. So now we're gonna wanna make this board level, because you just don't want stuff running off of it, if you know what I mean. The only thing is most people use like a planer. I have a planer that does up to 12 inches width. This table's obviously longer than that. So I'm gonna try to do it with a belt sander. I could use like a hand planer, but unfortunately I don't have one of those. And I've seen other people use routers. I could use my CNC machine to make it level. I think that I'm gonna try belt sander first, just because it doesn't seem like it's that far off. But like if the belt sander doesn't work, then I can just switch over to using my CNC machine, and I know that that'll get like a perfect level. This is kind of just like a, let's try it out and see if it works. If it doesn't, then it's kind of whatever. But for right now, I say let's just give it a go. We're actually gonna scratch the idea of using the belt sander, and we're gonna go ahead and move forward using the CNC machine. I got some good news, I got some bad news. That was about the longest part of the entire process, was basically planing the entire board. We're just gonna blast it with the sander until we get a good, crisp, clean coat. We'll probably start off with like a 60 grit or a 120 grit sandpaper, work our way up and finish with like a 320. I think we're gonna use some epoxy to keep some of the wood pieces in there, some of the nuts. We gotta fill in some holes that are in the wood, and then we'll add that polyurethane coat that will give it that crisp, clean look. And then attach the hardware, and guess what? We'll be finished. There is one part of the wood that we're going to have to figure out what to do with it. I think I'm just gonna try to sand this and make it look presentable. I think that's my only option there. Just starting to pill up and all that kind of stuff. Every other place on the outside of the board is perfect. This is the only part that we're gonna have to take care of. I'm just gonna hit it with like 220, 120 and try to get it to become flesh and smooth. And then after that, I think that it should be the best that we can get it. Well, that completes day number 3. Tomorrow, I'm just gonna hit it with some more sand. Got to get the epoxy in there. So I'm gonna run to the store tonight to pick that up. And maybe I'll put some epoxy on it tonight so that way it's cured for tomorrow morning. Then I can just blast it with the sand. And then hopefully about on midday tomorrow, I can start putting that final coat on, get the brackets attached tomorrow night. I know that I said that it would be the end of day 3, but I just went shopping at Home Depot. And so I've got the epoxy resin. I picked up some sandpaper. I picked up a 60 grit, a 120 grit, a 320 grit. I picked up some rags to wipe down the piece of wood, and then also to put on the wipe-on polyurethane, which is right here. This is just a 1-to-1 epoxy. I'm going to use this to fill in those holes. Pretty simple. Basically, I'm just gonna mix these two parts together in a cup, and then I'm gonna go into this hole right here, and I'm just gonna fill this in. Should be pretty easy. Then on the back side, there are some holes where the actual nut came out, and so I'm going to fill that in with a clear coat as well. Tomorrow, this should be set and dry, and then I'm going to come back and sand it all. Yesterday I was able to fill in all the epoxy, or all the holes on the board, on both sides actually. The only thing was, this was a quick setting epoxy. Next time if I did it again, I would go with a slower setting epoxy. There's still air bubbles in here, but mistakes are to be had when you're doing it yourself. Day 4, time to start sanding. Well, sanded. Now it's time to put on the polyurethane. Day number 5. There's not much that needs to be done. We just gotta sand the board one more time, put one more, actually we gotta put 2 more coats on there, so we gotta do 2 more sandings. We gotta sand it, you know, make it look good, put a coat, let it dry, sand it again, put another coat, and then it will be finished. We'll attach the brackets, and then we'll have the final reveal. The only thing is that it's like 2 to 4 hours of dry time each time, so that's gonna be quite a while of just like sitting around waiting. And since it is like Friday, the video's gotta come out tomorrow, which means that there's gotta be a lot of editing that needs to be done tonight. However, the good news is that I have been doing some editing throughout the entire process. I've got about 7 minutes worth of editing already finished. It's just that I feel like it's gonna be about another 7 minutes of editing. And then on top of that, I gotta align the music and, you know, editing stuff. But let's get outside and bang this thing out real quick. I just put on the final coat of polyurethane. After that, so in about 2 hours, I'm gonna come back. We got a wood buffer. I'm gonna buff it out a little bit, make it look a little bit more pretty, install the brackets. To be honest, I'm really excited for the final reveal. I'm so excited to say that we're finished with this build. This one's gonna be our new table and our kitchen, so we're gonna have to move it in there here soon. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. I like the contrast between the white and then the red in the middle, like the red kind of flame going down the middle. The reason why we chose like a white bond polyurethane is so that we can feel the actual like grain in the wood. Certain parts are harder, certain parts are not as hard. Eventually, I know that I'll have to re-sand this down and put more finish on it. However, I had so much fun making this how-to video. How to make a live end table. It was really, really fun. I will leave this up to you guys. I plan on coming out with other how-to videos. If you have an idea for a how-to video, let me know down in the comments, and who knows, maybe your suggestion could be featured in next week's video. Jay, we're all finished up.
But it says, but this is
Are you gonna leave me hanging with a high five like that?
This is a number says dingodingo.com.
Dingodingo.com.
I think Yodi wrote that.
Well, what do you think of the table so far, Jay?
I don't know.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, post any suggestions for future how-to videos down in the comments, and who knows, maybe yours next week could be picked. Until next time, it's been your coach, and I'll see you on Saturday.
Don't forget to describe.
Describe? What are you waiting for?